Hello and welcome to the channel. It is only a matter of days now until President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu becomes the president of Nigeria. Tinubu certainly has his work cut out for him, especially with how the President Buhari's administration governed the country for the past 8 years. Nigeria is certainly no quick fix, and in order to revive the country, here is what Asiwaju is planning to do. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Tinubu considers Oronsanye reports may merge government agencies. Indications have emerged that the president-elect Bola Tinubu will take tough decisions when he assumes duty in order to revive the ailing economy. Some of the decisions he is likely to take include the implementation of the Stephen Oronsanye panel's report on the reform of the civil service and the removal of the controversial fuel subsidy, which has become a drain on resources, job cuts, introduction of higher taxes, privatization of public corporations, and the sale of some government assets. Sunday Punch gathered that Tinubu had been impressing on his loyalists the need to take certain decisions that might be considered unpleasant in the short run but pay off for the nation later. Before the February 25, 2023 presidential election, Tinubu, who was then the candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress, had vowed to remove the fuel subsidy if elected, as it had constituted a huge drain on the government's revenue. A highly placed source told one of our correspondents on Saturday that the incoming president would merge some ministries and agencies of the federal government as recommended by the Oronsanye panel and will take tough decisions on other issues, going by meetings that had been held by Tinubu and his core loyalists. It was gathered that Tinubu had been meeting with some of his trusted aides on steps to reposition the country, and that one of them was to take a critical look at the Oronsanye report. The source said, "The report has been gathering dust at the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Nothing has been done to it. Even President Muhammadu Buhari, who promised to cut the cost of governance, couldn't do anything about it. But the incoming government is likely to take a critical look at the report. You know, Tinubu is an accountant and he knows how to manage resources, increase revenue and so forth. His meetings with trusted allies and those who are familiar with the economy will bring out the best for the country. He is not a novice in managing people and resources. So, I can conveniently tell you that some ministries are going to be merged. Nigeria should expect tough but meaningful decisions from the president-elect." Another source said the president-elect would appoint Nigerians from the diaspora into his cabinet, which would likely not be populated by politicians as experienced under the outgoing government. He said Tinubu had discussions with some Nigerians living outside the country during his recent travels, adding that the incoming president would put square pegs in square holes. Tinubu won't give ministries to people to manage based on patronage alone. He must have recognized capacity and ability in you before you can be appointed into key positions. That is the hallmark of this man that Nigerians have given the leadership of the country, the source added. The special advisor to the president-elect, Mr. Dele Alake, disclosed that it will not take Tinubu up to 60 days to assemble a team of competent hands. He had said, "I told you in an earlier interview that it didn't take Asiwaju more than 3 weeks to form his cabinet as governor. That was at that time. I think 60 days is even too much. A month maximum is enough for any serious government to form its cabinet and put a structure of government in place after the swearing in." Former President Goodluck Jonathan in 2011 set up the Presidential Committee on Restructuring and Rationalization of Federal Government Parastatals, Commissions and Agencies under the chairmanship of Oronsanye. The committee submitted an 800-page report on April 16, 2012, in which it uncovered a high level of competition among several overlapping agencies, which not only created ill feelings among government agencies, but also brought about unnecessary wastage in expenditure. It also recommended, among other things, the discontinuation of government funding of professional bodies and councils to free funds for capital projects. The Oronsanye report established that there are 541 federal government parastatals, commissions and agencies, statutory and non-statutory, and recommended that 263 of the statutory agencies should be reduced to 161, while 38 agencies should be abolished and 52 should be merged. The panel also recommended that 14 of the agencies should revert to departments and ministries. The government later set up a white paper drafting committee headed by the then Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohamed Adoke San, to study the recommendations and to produce a white paper on the report. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. When the white paper was submitted, the government accepted about 10% of the recommendations and rejected the others. The president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired in November 2021, set up 2 committees to review the Oronsaye report and all new establishments set up after 2014. However, with less than a month to exit power, nothing has been done about it. The chairman, Foundation for Economic Research and Training, and the former Director General of the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, Professor Akpan Ekbo, said the Oronsaye panel's report ought to have been implemented years ago. He, however, added that the incoming administration should implement it systematically so as not to cause problems for the country. This, according to Ekbo, is because it may render a lot of people who work in the duplicated agencies and parastatals unemployed. He said, Tinubu should implement the report, but it has to be done systematically. This is because this is a report to reduce the cost of governance. He asked to make sure that the workers that may end up losing their jobs are reassigned to other roles or agencies of government that are not to be collapsed together. There is a lot of duplication of agencies and parastatals in Nigeria. There is a Revenue Mobilization Commission and a Fiscal Commission. What are the differences? This will be one way of reducing the cost of governance and cutting down expenditure. The government has dilly-dallied for too long and gone ahead to add more agencies to the already existing ones. They should be closed down. They don't make sense, and the country does not have the money to fund them. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Financial Derivatives Company Limited, Bismarck Rewane, said the government was running a bloated structure, adding that the structure needed streamlining and restructuring. Rewane stated, the Oronsaye is not a new report. It has been there since 2012, and I don't know why the government has refused to implement it. If it is finally implemented by Tinubu after many years, it is fine. He, however, noted that the circumstances when it was written and the ones the country had today were totally different. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.